How do you find a good therapist? That is a harder question to answer than it might sound like. Often, the biggest challenge and barrier to getting that mental health treatment that someone needs is not even the stigma. It's more about the practical side of things. How do I even find someone? It feels overwhelming. Like, especially if I'm not an expert in mental health, how can I even determine or assess who's good at what they do, who's going to be the right fit for me? So let me take some time and walk through the way I usually guide people to find a therapist. So this is what I'll say, and I do not get any kickbacks from Psychology Today, but I find it to be the most comprehensive database of therapists that I've seen so far. So I would go to Psychology Today and then find a therapist section. You could put in your zip code. And then really there's pretty good selection criteria stuff over there. So you can sort it by insurance. You can sort it by location. You could even select virtual or non-virtual. And the cool thing is now that a lot of therapists do offer virtual treatment. You could find someone anywhere in your state, really. You don't even have to be limited by which therapists are servicing your direct area. Find anyone in your state. Okay, still maybe overwhelming. Still a lot of narrowing down we need to do. So there's also a way to narrow it down based on populations or the kinds of challenges you're facing. So let's say you're struggling with depression, you can select that and make sure that the therapists who show up have some kind of experience and comfort level working with depression. Now comes the interviewing part. What I would say, read through different profiles, or even and there are pictures there. See what the vibe is of the person, of the therapist, and with what they wrote. And then select 3 who catch your eye and your interest, and reach out to them. I recommend there's a way to message them directly through Psychology Today. I recommend sending the same message to 3 of them at least, and just write, "Hi, I'm looking for treatment for blank. Can we set up a call?" Because there's always that free, let's say 15-minute consultation call. So assuming that you hear back from 3, what you do is you're going to speak to them, and just remember, you're the consumer, okay? They are someone who has a product, a service, which is mental health treatment, but you are in the decider seat, right? It's your decision. So this is kind of a script that I recommend. You introduce yourself, right? And then you say, this is what I'm dealing with right now. Let's say I have a family member who has a medical issue, or I'm dealing with grief. I have severe anxiety that's getting in my way. My child is struggling in school, whatever it is. And then you kind of put it back to them and say, what would your approach be for that? So remember, there might be some jargon and stuff that you don't understand exactly in the way they respond to you. But that's okay. And it's really not about the specific words or the specific approach, because you're not an expert in this stuff. It's more that you want to feel like they have a confidence, they know what they're doing, they express and kind of speak with that experience of having worked with this kind of thing before. And at the end of the day, you may not know how to differentiate who's a great therapist, who's not, and that's fine. But you do know which people you like. You know if you meet someone and you have a good vibe with them, or you feel like you spoke and they just understood you, right? And so it's so important. Find someone who you just feel like you're on the same wavelength, and you just, where you leave that conversation feeling maybe hopeful or confident that this person can support you and help you. So ultimately, it's about trusting your gut, about not kind of getting wowed by use of professional words, as much as I am a person and I know which people I like. And I know that I feel comfortable with this person. And so if you speak to 3 different people, right? And maybe someone won't get back to you, so you reach out to another one, right? That way you have 3 conversations. You should absolutely feel like you should at that point feel drawn to someone. And if you're like two equal then just you can arbitrarily choose one. But remember, you have choices here. You are the consumer. And in a future video, I will talk about the now what of how do you know if therapy is going well? Is it time to switch to a new therapist? But just wanted to start off with this one because I know it can be a pretty big deal for people. And so I hope it was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. I want to really be able to address this more at length because I think this is kind of an underspoken about challenge of getting mental health treatment, right? We talk about not being able to afford it or insurance stuff, but what about like the actual process of choosing someone? Hope it was helpful and look forward to talking more about this kind of thing.